Hi everybody! Thanks for watching. I'm gonna break down that patch that you just heard. I've been like on a techno kind of kick lately, so most of what I'm doing is really drum focused, kind of percussive techno stuff. And I built this patch this morning and I wanted to integrate each part of my system. What's funny is that the middle case here is usually the techno system, but this time I'm using mostly my case on this side, and then I have verbose modules that I'm using as well. So I'll start with the sequencer, and I'm using the ground control as the only sequencer for this patch. The Hermod is going, but I'm not using it. So I have my Erica Synths Pico drums is my bass drum, and I find that module is like a little wimpy, but it's amazing, but it just doesn't make the best sounding drums. So I actually have it running through the WMD scalpel module to give it a lot more body. So that I felt like sounded amazing together. For the snare, it's the Erica Synths snare. That's really like my go-to. The Erica Synths Pico Drums has a really good snare on it as well that I could have just combined together, but since I'm running it into the scalpel, I didn't want to run both the snare and the bass drum into the scalpel because it only has one out. So we've got the Erica Synths snare, and then the Endorphins Black Noir is the open hat and the closed hat on this track. For the sample, I actually have that running through the Morphogene, and I won't tell you what the sample is, but it is from wrestling. Surprise. Then over here, I actually am using the Instruo envelope into the Bartola Valves VCA for my bass envelope. And my bass is actually the Verbose Complex Oscillator, which I'm having it modulated by the Voltage Multistage, just a little bit, not a lot, on the master wave over there. And then I have the Foundation Oscillator, which I decided not to use, so ignore that. I also have the Complex Oscillator running through the Bark filter, and it's actually just running out on all filters, and that is running into the envelope and everything. So after that, I kept this track kind of simple, so there's not a million tracks on here. There's not a million effects, because I'm finding that like the less that I do, the better that it ends up sounding in the end. So I have my last sound that I have in here is rings, and so rings is running through the Modbat Modular Performer module, which is being modulated by another module. So I find that that combination sounds really, really cool. And that's my last sound source. As for like LFOs and stuff, I have the Pam's New Workout and Marie's LFO on LFO modulation duty. Lastly, I also have the Desmodus Versio on here as my reverb for the vocal sample. So I kept it simple, even though I don't think it looks simple because it's always going to be a mess over here. So I sometimes use an external bass. I've been using the MIDI Mini, but this time I kept it all in the rack instead of using an external bass. So if you have questions about this, I would love to talk about it. Also, I do want to note that I didn't use the BIA for this patch at all, which is kind of crazy because I always use it. So I'm trying to branch out a little bit. So thanks for watching. Bye.